Hello everyone, this is Indrajit Ganguly. I hope all of you are very well, and this is my first class with you after the half-yearly exam and puja vacation. Today I am going to start a new chapter from the syllabus of second unit test, that is chapter number 7 from history, the Great Uprisings of 1857. Dear students, the year 1857 was very remarkable in Indian history because, as you all know, that in the year 1757 British rule was established in India, right? And the British East India Company was succeeded against the last independent Nawab of Bengal, Shiraj-ud-Dowla. So they established their rule in India after getting success in the Battle of Plassey. And they consolidate their power after gaining success in the Battle of Buxar in 1764. So we can say that in 1857 the British rule in India was completed 100 years. And in this year we have seen a large number of people who were regularly oppressed, tortured and exploited by the British East India Company. They are decided to revolt against them, and they are decided to overthrow the British East India Company. So the year witnessed a massive mass uprising which changed the Indian history. That's why this incident remarked as the Great Uprising of 1857. Clear? So students, whenever I am thinking about the Great Uprising of 1857, or we can say the Revolt of 1857, I was always thinking about the name of one place, and the place is called Barakpur. A Hindu soldier from the Barakpur Army Regiment, his name was Mangal Pandey, decided to revolt against the British government. Why so? Because he refused to touch the Enfield rifle. Now the question is, what is Enfield rifle, right? During 1857, this kind of rifle was used by the British government, and that is called Enfield rifle. And this is called grease cartridges. Okay, you can see in the picture, this is a paper case. A powder is there, basically it is a gunpowder, it is a bullet and it is a greased. There was a rumor that the cartridges to be loaded in the new Enfield rifles were greased with the fat of cow and pigs. These cartridges were to be beaten off before being loaded into rifle. The Hindu and Muslim sepoys got angry over this as it hurt their religious sentiments. They refused to use these cartridges. You can see that a sepoy basically beaten off the cartridges, then load the gunpowder into the gun, and then load the gun, then we have to fire. But there was a rumor that these cartridges greased with cow and pig fat. So therefore both the Hindu and Muslim soldiers refused to touch the cartridges. On March 1857, Mangal Pandey refused to touch the cartridges. Therefore, he attacked his senior officers and he was hanged to death on 8th April 1857. This incident became very important in the history of the Revolt of 1857. Gradually, all the army regiments and all the Indian soldiers decided to refuse these cartridges because it hurt the religious sentiments. You can see this is the main centers of the Revolt of 1857. The agitation was started from Barakpur, then it was moved to the different parts of the country, basically in North India. And you can see this is the main centers of the Revolt of 1857, and the revolt was started by the Indian soldiers, and therefore the Great Uprising of 1857 was also known as the Sepoy Mutiny. I am repeating once again, Sepoy Mutiny, S-E-P-O-Y, Sepoy Mutiny. The Sepoy means Sipahi, okay, and mutiny is synonymous with revolt. Okay, so we can say that on March 1857, Mangal Pandey refused to touch the cartridges, attacked senior officers. On 8th April, he was hanged, And finally, these incidents was generally spread all over the subcontinent, and basically all the army regiments, they refused to touch it. And finally, on 10th May 1857, the revolt began at Meerut and soon spread to the adjoining areas. It was the first major expression of an organized resistance that left an everlasting impact on the colonial empires. So we can say that the Enfield rifle issue is the immediate cause, or we can say is the direct cause of the revolt of 1857. Remember student, it is very important for one mark question. Okay. Apart from these Enfield rifle issues, there are other reasons, other events are there which are responsible for the revolt of 1857. So let's have a look onto these issues and events. As I told you, the Indian soldier first revolted against the British government. So therefore, the Great Uprising of 1857 is known as the Sepoy Mutiny. The Indian sepoys were considered as inferior to the European counterparts. Promotions, salary, awards were only for the British officials. Indian soldiers were paid much less as compared with the British soldiers. They were not even respected. General Service Enlistment Act was passed in 1856 that made it compulsory for all troops to serve overseas. But Indian soldiers never want to cross the sea because they believe that if they cross the sea, they would lose their caste. So these kinds of military causes were also responsible for the revolt of 1857. Okay, it is very important for 3 marks question. Next, that is the political causes. In my second chapter, I have discussed with you that the British government established their control in India with 2 types of annexation policy. First one is called direct annexation policy. Second one is called indirect annexation policy. I hope you remember these things. I hope you remember that the British choose in the indirect annexation policy, that is the 2 policy. First one is subsidiary alliance and second one is doctrine of lapse. By the subsidiary alliance, if any Indian territory signed the subsidiary alliance, then a subsidiary force to be appointed in the particular territory. And these subsidiary force will be paid by the Indian ruler, right? And if any Indian ruler failed to pay the amount to the subsidiary force, then this territory would be captured by the British company, right? So in this way, the British captured Awadh, Hyderabad and other Indian provinces, right? And I hope you remember that the doctrine of lapse, if any Indian ruler died without a male heir or a proper successor, then his territory will be annexed by the British company. So in this way, company annexed Jhansi, Satara, Nagpur and other places. So these political causes are also responsible for creating the background of revolt of 1857. Next, economic causes are also important. I hope you remember that in the last chapter, I have discussed with you about the 3 important land revenue settlements like permanent systems, Rayatwari system and Mahalwari system, right? So this system was miserable for both the zamindars and ryots. Peasants were forced to grow cash crops like indigo, opium and to be sold to China to finance their trade. This left the land unfit for the growth of food crops. So you can understand that. So you could understood that basically there was no profit for the peasantry, right? And they have to pay high amount of rent to the company and to the zamindars. So their life was very miserable. Next one, the traditional industries of India collapsed due to competition from the cheap machine goods from Britain. No measures were taken to improve the condition of the peasants and the artisans. So economic causes were also responsible for creating the background of revolt of 1857. Apart from this, British government did lots of bad things to India. But whatever advancement India had, that is for the British government. Don't forget this. Whatever advancement, whatever development we had in recent time, thanks to the British government. Because the British government, the social reforms made by the British were important for the development of India. In India, there was an infamous inhuman custom was there that is called Satida System. Okay, in your book there is a chapter and there is a detailed discussion about the Satida System. So I am not getting into this. So these inhuman practices was stopped by the British government. The British government introduced widow remarriages. The British government introduced Western education, English education, scientific education for the development of India. So these type of reforms were very important for Indian perspective, but unfortunately, some of the upper caste Indians looked it as threat to the established social structure. Apart from this, the introduction of railways, telegraphs, India Post were viewed with suspicions. And some of the upper caste, they believe that the British are trying to interfere in the social matters of India and they destroyed their traditional culture. So social and religious causes are also responsible for creating the background of the revolt of 1857. Okay students, this is it for today. In my next class, I will discuss with you how the British government react towards the 1857 and also discuss with you about the consequences of the revolt. Thank you and have a nice day.